Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Dunedin Film Festival podcast. We're here with Monique McLaughlin, the incredible makeup artist, hairstylist, and all-around extraordinaire to the stars here in Florida. I'm so excited to have you on the show, Mo.
I'm excited to be here.
Good, I'm so glad. So let's get right into the nitty-gritty. You have one of those stories I love. You started in the corporate space and you were like, to hell with that. I'm ready for some creative living. So tell me about your path and what got you here today.
I realized I was living a slow cubicle death. I was always a creative person. I say that I'm an artist and a painter, but I had painter's block, so makeup always came easier to me. At the end of 2004, I just realized I was putting in all this work and it wasn't really appreciated. And I would spend all these hours at the office and it didn't really matter. It mattered to my employees, but it didn't matter to the higher-ups. And I just got tired of the corporate politics and everything and just decided, I've always done this part-time. It's time to make that change. I went to cosmetology school. I was probably the oldest person there. So then went to cosmetology school and then just started after that. Fashion became film and then commercial work. And that's where I'm at now.
That is awesome to just know that you decided, hey, this doesn't serve me. I don't feel that this is for the greater good of what I want in my life. And so I'm going to try something different, do the scary thing. So when you were doing it part-time, what did that look like for you?
Mostly weddings and events for people. And then I decided to take that leap. I first, when I got out of school, I managed hair salons.
Oh, because you took that business with beauty and kind of tied it together.
Yes. And then, because, you're still a little bit afraid, you're used to having a set job. And then finally I was like, I need to take that leap. And I did. And the day that I did, I never regretted it since.
Well, good. I'm so glad that you did that and you gave yourself that gift. So I know that you do makeup. You started in fashion and then doing films and commercial makeup. So what does that mean? What is the difference in the type of makeup that you do?
So commercial's probably the most basic out of everything just because everybody has to look so natural. Fashion, I get to have a little bit more fun. It depends on, what the actual outfit looks like. I've been lucky enough to do most of the major fashion magazines in this area. It's kind of become a running joke with the editors that I work with, but I work with all the fashion magazines and I enjoy it just because I've worked with them for so long. I have creative license to kind of do what I want. And I work with such a good creative team. And that's what it's really all about, the collaborative part of it. And that's what I enjoy.
Good. That sounds awesome to be able to let your wings spread a lot more within the fashion one creatively. Not that there's not great place within the commercial to do that more natural look, but definitely looking at the style of the hair and the look of the fashion and the whole show together and being able to be a part of an artist in your own right, bringing that together.
Yes.
I love that. So when you're going onto these sets and these locations, do you just roll up with your dolly or what does that look like? What does that look like for you?
So it depends on the gig. A year ago, I actually bought a converted shuttle bus. I had been looking at a hair studio, and actually one of my clients found it. I went and looked at it while I was in the middle of filming. And it was retrofitted as a mobile barber shop, so not exactly my vibe. A little bit more masculine. It almost kind of looked like a party bus, just missing the stripper pole.
I'm picturing that red and white spinning, barber sign on the outside.
It had blue light. I mean, it was beautiful.
I love it.
It just wasn't really my vibe, and I'm more industrial, so I've pretty much redone the whole thing. And everybody enjoys being in it. It's a fun place. Talent can hang out in it, get away from everything. Probably the best investment I have made as far as my career in film locally. When I started doing all of the films locally here, I realized that we didn't have anything like that. Because, we used to have larger scale films here with the tax incentives going away that brought a lot of smaller independent productions. But who says that you need to skimp on stuff? So I pitched the Glam Wagon to all the producers that I worked with, and they realized it was also a selling point. So either I stroll up with the Glam Wagon, where we have 3 stations in there. There's refrigerator, microwave, there's coffee machine in there. It actually can house wardrobe in there as well too. We have a wardrobe rack in there, and it's fully functional with a generator, so I don't have to plug in. I do have the option to plug in as well too. There is a shampoo bowl in there. So
Wow, it is ready to go. I love it. And you call it the Glam Wagon?
the Glam Wagon, yes. And then when I'm not doing that, the funny part is when I roll up in my regular car, everybody laughs because it's like a game of Tetris because I drive a Miata. So I pull up in a 2-seater and it confuses people how I can fit all my makeup kit in there.
That's awesome that you have the different ways to travel. And I think it really shows our listeners that are interested in kind of getting into this part of the film industry that there's a lot of ways to do it. You can do it in your 2-seater, no Honda Civic if you maybe don't have a Miata, but then also having that full Glam Wagon. What's your favorite thing about the Glam Wagon?
I love that I don't have to haul everything in and
Right.
out. It's great. I just, roll up, turn everything on and then just ready to go.
And can we see pictures? Do you doing with the Glam Wagon on your Instagram? So we can kind of see the Glam Wagon in action?
I do actually. So I've kind of owned the Traveling Makeup Artist as a domain and social for a long time, and I realized that would be a good place to kind of land the glam. So I started posting things like that.
What a smart girl to have locked down that domain.
Yes.
The amount of domains that I own for the weirdest, my domain page on Google is insane. So it's the Traveling Makeup Artist?
Yes.
I like that. So that's .com and at
Yes.
everything on Instagram.
Right now it all travels over towards, if you type in the domain address, it goes over to my makeup page. So Makeup and Hair by Monique. I actually even bought the domain for Florida Makeup Artist as well, which travels over to my
Smart girl.
page too.
Yes.
So until I can figure out exactly what I'm going to do with each one of those things, it's all about an end game plan tying in creativity and business as well.
Absolutely. Which is so great. That's where you really got your creative start. After you graduated from cosmetology school, managing, these beauty salons, you really were able to see beauty as a business. Do you think being able to see beauty as a business has helped you grow your career so far?
Absolutely. Probably one of the top things that I get commented and complimented for is my marketing ability, just because I do have a strong marketing background, which is actually kind of tied into going into producing as well. I just finished producing my 2nd film.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So how that came about is just the business background, seeing where there was a need, and I always kind of laughed when I saw Adam Sandler movie because I always saw the product placement of things.
Yes.
So you see Subway, Hooters, and I thought, that's ingenious, especially when you're working with smaller budget films trying to get things in there. So I pitched it. as, I can get some product placement in here. And then because I have been in this area for so long, I was able to use my networking connections to be able to figure out according to the script where it would make sense to have product placement. And then also, with the Glam Wagon as well. So with both of those things, I was able to transition into producing too.
Oh, awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And what do you enjoy the most about the production piece of it and being a producer?
I love that it actually gives a different piece of the business for me, because not only, everybody's aware of me in the makeup and hair front, but as a producing side, a lot of people understand that I do have a business background. And because, having that unique perspective of I'm hands-on, I actually know what it's like to be on set, but also because I understand the business part of it and how, and there's still a lot of stuff I have to learn when it comes to producing, but I'm lucky that I work with such great people, and a lot of my crews are the same people.
Exactly.
On set.
And you get to have that connection with them. And like you said earlier, within the fashion industry, having that creative license, that creative freedom, and to be able to have that as a producer is a very unique place you get to be in the filmmaking industry.
Yes, and the one thing I did notice once they saw a producer on the call sheet, and that's when everybody felt comfortable coming up to me and making suggestions, things that they wanted to, complain about. So it was interesting just to kind of see how that transitioned, being on set, still doing makeup, but then also getting the behind the scenes and the commentary of things that people would like to see change, just because they know that I do understand.
Absolutely. And you have that camaraderie with them, and you know what it's like to be on that side of the industry. I love it. And that's so good that you've built relationships with these individuals, that they see you as that ally. They see you as that person who can advocate for the creative teams.
Exactly.
Congratulations. I know that these are all amazing things that you've been working towards. And so, one of my favorite questions I've been asking on the show is what is your meet cute with the film industry? And so, a meet cute in a romantic comedy is when the couples meet and they fall in love and they know that they're meant to be together. So, you had great success in fashion and doing this commercial work. But what was that moment when you did film makeup or was a part of a film and that was the spark that you knew you wanted to do more films?
You know, it's such a huge responsibility to be responsible for somebody's look on camera because it's out there forever. And having a talent sit in my chair and place that complete trust in my hands was my moment. It was understanding that they had to feel comfortable to know that you were paying attention, to make sure that nothing looked horrible on camera, and just the responsibility of having all that trust from the talent, and that was one of the things, I recently worked with Robert Patrick on a film, and he told me, he's like, you take me 90% of the way there. He said, you put me into that makeup, and then they put me into the costume, and then I just have to feel it, So that was very telling to me, and how much responsibility makeup and hair is when it comes to filmmaking. And I just enjoy it. I enjoy building that rapport with people, and I understand, my role and my responsibility with that.
I love that. I love that it's the way that you serve the talent and that you get to play an important role and be an instrument in your own right within the filmmaking. And that's amazing. I love that. And I love hearing that from a man that he recognizes how important the look is to the performance and to see that. So that's great that you got the accolades that you deserve.
Yes, I was very happy about that because to work with him as far as what his character and what he envisioned, and then what I envisioned, and then bringing it together, and then it just made it so much easier for him to just play that role. And he was so much fun to work with, like,
Good.
just his personality on set. And that's what I really enjoy. There's people I've seen followed for decades, and then they get to sit in my chair, and it's just so exciting because they're just normal people, and then you have normal conversations with them. And it's a great experience all around.
Well, I'm glad you have that. You have that ability to help them feel comfortable and natural around you and to be ready for the performance. So it's so great for you to have that. And I appreciate you sharing that with us here. For our listeners, if there's any one piece of advice for somebody who's trying to break into the fashion and film makeup, what would your advice for them be?
Just work hard. I mean, honestly, if you come in and you work and you find the right mentor, that's the one thing I wish I would have had more of when I started in this industry, because everybody's like the gatekeeper of information. And so I try to be the opposite because of my corporate background. I think especially I was very big on mentoring on people that work for me. And I want to make sure that, because they are an extension of me when they're on set. So if they can handle everything and not, be worried about how they're handling themselves on set, it just makes it run smoother.
Good. That's such great advice. Well, thank you for joining us on the Dunedin Film Festival podcast.